A Russian Ural 4320 military field truck approaches two Eastern Military District Sukhoi SU-25 Grach ground attack aircraft. The truck is towing a trailer holding 5 122mm caliber S-13 unguided rockets. Russian aircraft maintainers will conduct aircraft checks, refuel and rearm the aircraft's two B-13L5 tube launchers. The aircraft pilot will conduct a final pre-flight inspection. Today, the two SU-25 aircraft pilots are tasked with launching rocket strikes at Ukrainian military installations. The Su-25 is likely loaded with baseline S-13 rockets, armed with a 2-module concrete-piercing high-explosive warhead containing 75 kg and 38 kg explosives. These unguided rockets' primary role is to destroy different types of shelters, including reinforced ones, command posts, demolish runways and defeat communication posts and other facilities. The Su-25 is also armed with a Gryazev-Shipunov GSH-32, a Soviet-era dual-barrel autocannon developed for the Su-25 and mounted below the cockpit. It is offset slightly to the left in a VPU-17A mount. It is armed with a total of 250 30mm rounds, loaded on a single belt. The 30mm rounds are capable of destroying light armoured vehicles and piercing through standard non-reinforced concrete and brick structures. The entire 250 round belt allows for 5 seconds of fire. The Su-25 Grach ground attack aircraft, NATO reported name Frogfoot, is a single-seat twin-engine jet. Considered an equivalent to the United States A-10 Thunderbolt II close air support aircraft, the Su-25 is smaller but better armoured than the A-10 Thunderbolt II, with as much as 1100 kg of titanium armour compared to the 540 kg of the A-10. In both aircraft, the pilots sit enclosed within a titanium armoured cockpit referred to as a bathtub or titanium tub, which protects the pilot from enemy rounds and shrapnel striking underneath and lower sides of the cockpit. The A-10C has 11 hardpoints to carry 16,000 pounds of up to 10 combined armaments of rockets, missiles and bombs, and has a top speed averaging 439 miles per hour. It also packs a deadly punch with its 30mm GAU-8 Avenger cannon loaded with 1,174 rounds. The Su-25 has 10 hardpoints and can carry 9,700 pounds of armament. This is however 6,300 pounds less carrying weight than the A-10C. The Su-25 does have a greater average speed advantage of 606 miles per hour and is capable of carrying a wider range of armaments, allowing a greater flexibility in multi-role missions, with a selection of at least 20 types of rockets, missiles and bombs. The Su-25 is specifically designed to operate at speed over the battlefield at low altitudes. The pilot mostly relies on visual acquisition of targets, basically more commonly hunting for moving enemy ground targets, identified by ground-based Russian reconnaissance teams. The Su-25 will on occasion be sent to destroy fixed installations. However, you may have already noticed that this footage recorded by Russian personnel over the last 6 months shows the Su-25 only armed with S-13 unguided rockets. The aircraft are only fitted with 2 B-13L5 tube launchers and 2 fuel drop tanks. The rest of the hardpoints are empty. These Su-25 are even missing its R-60 short-range, lightweight, infrared homing air-to-air missiles to defend itself from enemy aircraft. You can see from this footage some of the Su-25 are missing its Klen PS laser rangefinder. In fact, the section in the nose area where it should be fitted is now covered with a metal plate. The rangefinder combined with illuminator would really come into its own when used for missile systems fitted with passive laser home seekers. The Klen PS laser rangefinder, when actually fitted, is intended to measure the distance between the aircraft and ground. Measuring is performed with high accuracy but at a relatively short distance. The system provides enough accuracy to target tanks and other mobile ground units. My own personal conclusion for the missing Klen PS laser rangefinder is the Russian Air Force has a critical shortage of spares. After all, these are old systems. The SU-25 Modernization program did begin in the year 2000, but at the time they retained the Klen PS laser rangefinder, likely due to costs. In 2014, work began to replace the Klen PS on its SU-25 fleet. It included a modern SALT-25 electro-optical vision and targeting system with laser rangefinding and target designation. But clearly this modernisation programme has not caught up with Eastern Military District operated SU-25 aircraft. So, the Eastern Military District Air Force are operating outdated Su-25 aircraft combined with a chronic lack of guided missile systems, such as the well-regarded KH-29. Seen here, it's a laser-guided Soviet air-to-surface missile armed with a very destructive 320 kg warhead, a go-to weapon of choice. It would have until recently given the Su-25 pilots a standoff capability advantage of up to 30 kilometers away, in which to fire at industrial buildings, depots, bridges and even shipping. Without these missiles, Su-25 pilots have to fly dangerously close to enemy fixed, well-defended positions, leaving it exposed to advanced surface-to-air defence systems and man-portable air defence systems. In one such case, in March 2023, an Su-25 was hit with a Manpad missile. The aircraft was badly damaged. The pilot of the damaged aircraft, having assessed the situation, decided to turn off the damaged engine and not eject from the plane. This very lucky Russian pilot managed to fly back to his base of operations and safely land his Sukhoi Su-25 Frogfoot attack aircraft, demonstrating its incredible resilience and survivability. It's highly likely any guided missile systems previously allocated to the Su-25 forces in the early stages of Russia's war against Ukraine are now fully depleted. Any stocks of guided missile systems are probably strictly rationed to the Russian Air Force's fast attack jets, leaving the Su-25 aircraft with very little defensive capability and a significantly reduced attack potency. Here we see Su-25s operated by Russia's Western Military District Air Force. These are actually fitted with a Klen PS laser rangefinder, but once again, the aircraft are lacking any advanced weaponry. This is the Russian Su-25 SM ground attack aircraft operated by Russia's Central Military District. These Su-25 SM ground attack aircraft began their modernisation program from around the year 2000. It's unclear how many baseline Su-25 have been modernised. The Russian Air Force before the 2022 Russo-Ukrainian War was probably operating 280 aircraft, of which 80 may have been upgraded to the Su-25 SM version. A further 25 aircraft may have been upgraded to the very latest Su-25 SM3 standard, replacing for instance the outdated Klen PS laser target designator with the new SALT-25 electro-optics nose module. It is also equipped with a Gryazev-25 active self-protection system, which uses a laser to blind the sensitive IR guidance heads of incoming missiles, such as those launched by manpads. The SU-25 SM version seen here has had its two R95SH engines overhauled and modified with an anti-surge system installed. The weapon suite has been expanded to include Vimpel R73 highly agile air-to-air missile and the newer S-13T 130mm rockets with blast fragmentation and armor-piercing warheads. Unfortunately for the Russian Su-25 SM pilots, even these aircraft are very lightly armed. One of these aircraft will be firing unguided S-8KLM 80mm heat fragmentation rockets. These are effective against most ground targets. One aircraft is carrying 2 pods, holding 20 rockets each. The rockets, when fired with accuracy, have a high level of penetration, destroying or immobilising most armoured vehicles. The Su-25 SM GHS-32 autocannon is also effective against softer targets, such as general vehicles and artillery positions. With a 250 round magazine, it has received 3 new reduced rate of fire modes, 750, 375 and 188 rounds per minute. The pilots are flying at very low altitude at speeds of 900 km an hour in an attempt to avoid enemy fire. The S-8KOM rockets carried on one aircraft have a limited range of 2 to 4 km, forcing both the pilots to get close to targets. Once an enemy target is identified, the pilots will fire the salvo rockets. The pilots will immediately bank away, launching decoy flares. They will continue to perform further evasive manoeuvres in an attempt to avoid counter-fire. The Russian forces, according to Wikipedia sources, have so far suffered at least 23 Su-25 losses, with a further 5 damaged, making it the highest Russian fixed-wing loss during the 2022-2023 Russo-Ukrainian War.